In this video, I will detail the various reference layers that are available in GLAM. It will outline what these reference layers correspond to and how best to view them in the GLAM map application. So when you log in as an agent into Generic Land Management GLAM, you will select acres, and this will bring you to the list of your linked clients. They're outlined as general or cooperation, and you can search them by herd number as well, which I will do here. And then you hit view. So this will take you then into the homepage to either create or edit a farm sustainability plan. So we've entered this one before, so we'll select edit. And then it just gives you the farm details. There's the option here to select low emission slurry spreading or the rare breeds action. And then as you scroll down, it gives you if there is priority mapped layers on the farm. So these are ones that potentially can give tier 1 or tier 2 access to the scheme. So here you'll see that they have Natura, which if they choose actions in that area will be tier 1, or they have vulnerable water or the designated bog 500, which can give tier 2. So if we just click into the map then, and I can briefly go through the reference layers. So when the map opens up, it will show all the live parcels coming from BPS. You can zoom out with the plus or minus here, or just using the scroll on the mouse. So when you click in then into layers, we can go down through the list of reference layers that's available to view. So the first ones, you'll see them that they're always ticked, and these are just the acres actions. So later on when you're drawing the actions, this will just ensure that they're appearing in each parcel. So if we expand then the reference layers, we'll look at the cooperation zone separately. So underneath this then, the first one we'll look at is the EPA. So we'll know from the home screen of this applicant that they were in a vulnerable water area. So instead of having to turn on and off everyone, you'll know from the summary that they're in this layer. So we can turn that on and update. This hashes out the whole area, so you know every parcel then is in that vulnerable water area. Underneath the EPA, you also have your PIP nitrate and PIP phosphorus critical source areas, and then the PIP phosphorus focused flow delivery paths and points. So these can be used just to, you know, to help locate some target actions and interception actions at these higher risk areas. So then for the rest of the reference layers, if we go down, your monuments are here. It's the 21 ones that are applicable, and underneath that then the NPWS layers. So all the species layers are outlined here. So from the home screen here, we know that this applicant had Natura, so we'll just turn on the SAC and SPA together and hit update. And it shows that these parcels here on the right hand side are Natura. This is a good time just to show the layer precedence. This is something that is being fixed in GLAM, but at the moment you can just set it yourself. So if you scroll down to the bottom, the all parcels is usually at the bottom. You click on it and hold it down and just bring it right up to the top. If you scroll over the arrow here, it will eventually just put it at the very top and then hit update. So then it will always show the parcels there above the layer that you've turned on. So you go back into layer grouping, expand the reference layers again and the NPWS which we were in. So we will turn off those, and we also know that this applicant was in the raised bog 500 metre buffer layer. So select that and update that, and it shows that these parcels then are in that area. There are other species layers outlined under conservation targets. So you'll see in this one, the vulnerable water and breeding water are the potentially ones that can get tier 1 and 2. But under conservation targets, there's also, you will see various different species, in this case, yellowhammer and barn owl. These are outlined in page 12 of the specification, that these species, that there is different actions which would be applicable to these to provide habitat and foraging for those. So there is a list of actions that would suit these areas. Say for barn owl, that the barn owl nest box and the grass margins grassland. So it is about helping to get some suitable measures in the right place. So if we look at these in the map, and expand the layers, you will see from this one it was yellowhammer. So a lot of these are tiled layers, so like they will show up as as straight shape files. So here for this one, it's coming up that they have a conservation target for hen harrier. So when you turn off on that layer, it shows that the whole area is outlined as being suitable for actions for hen harrier. So like these would not be the areas that are designated for hen harrier, and they wouldn't be in the CP areas, but what it is, it outlines that there are more to expand the areas that the hen harriers hunt in, to provide all these type of winter food sources for them. So like actions like winter bird food strips, overwinter stubble, unharvested cereal headlands, grass margins, grassland and arable, that all these type of actions would be suitable in these areas. So these will, it's not for tier 1 or 2 access, but any farms then that have these farmland birds mapped on their holding will get some additional marks in the ranking and selection process. There is another layer under the NPWS which is called NX1 Grassland, and this is a useful layer for identifying potential areas that would be suitable for the low input grassland results based. You will see on page 13 of the spec, and in the low input grassland spec as well, that in these areas that the criteria to select low input grassland does not apply if it is an NX1 grassland, and same for SACs and SPAs. You'll also see that there are certain actions that are blocked in these Annex 1 grasslands. So these aren't designated, but there are areas that are known to have, valuable grasslands that should be maintained. Finally, then there is the OSI layers down the bottom of the list of reference layers. So these are the most up-to-date water data from the OSI, and it is going to be updated in the spec that the OSI water line and the OSI water single stream line are the applicable water courses for within the area-based actions, where it's mandatory to exclude bovines. So the water layers that are provided, as I say, is the water line, which is generally the kind of major larger rivers. The single stream lines then are streams. You can see one coming on here, and the water polygon then shows up any drains that are on the holding as well. So it gives a good idea of the movement of water on a farm, and the riparian buffer strips or zones can be applied to to any of these layers as well.